Hello and welcome to the Tom Sawyer Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. I'm Grant Wall and I will be your host all season as we take you inside the Winona State football program each and every week. I'm joined as always by Winona State head football coach Tom Sawyer. And Coach, welcome back for another exciting year of the Tom Sawyer Show here on the Warrior Sports Network. Let's get right into last week. Go over your season opening win over Minnesota Crookston. Just what are your thoughts? One game into the books, you got a long season ahead of you, but you got one down. What are your thoughts after that first game?
Well, first and foremost, we got the win, and they all add up the same at the end. So we're very excited about that. We thought Crookston was going to be a little better football team. They had the league's leading rusher, and Haley, and he's very good. And I thought our defense did a great job on containing him, especially in the first half. Our offense came out very explosive. John Taglin played very well. Brian Bradshaw played very well, and Rayon had 80 yards and 14 carries. So we're off to a good start, what we hoped for. And the biggest thing about that game, besides the win, is the fact we got a lot of kids a chance to play. Played in front of a lot of student athletes, or students here down in the student section. So that was most exciting for our kids. But a great way to start the year. You said it was a good start. It was also a fast start, scoring a touchdown on your first offensive play of the season. Certainly is never a bad thing. No, we have that expectation. You know, I tell our offensive guys all the time, just score early and often, and we don't have to worry about it. And I did give John a hard time, John Taglin a hard time, that he was 2 for 2 to start the game. One was to us and one was to them, and we could do without that. But after that, he settled in and really played well. But yeah, we were very diverse offensively, and our defense came to play fast, and it was a good result. You mentioned Rayon Simmons. He scored 3 times. And moved into second on the school's all-time rushing charts in the victory. And he certainly looks in preseason practice and then on Thursday night, he looks like a guy who's focused and ready to go. Yeah, he's ready to go. You get to that senior year and that you're kind of running out of days, and we want to try to keep him healthy. He's looking forward to the rest of the season, and he's got some really lofty goals ahead of him. And one is to be the all-time leading rusher here at Winona State history, as well as possibly the Northern Sun if he stays healthy. So we're going to do everything we can to try to get that along the way. We don't care when it happens, but to be #1 in any category at a university this size is quite remarkable, and we sure hope he does it. Just a little over 900 yards is all he needs to become the conference's all-time leading rusher, something that, if his past history indicates, is something that he is going to be well within his reach. Well, he's got to stay healthy. I mean, that's the whole thing, and he missed a couple games last year and rushed for about 1,300. So, yeah, that's the whole deal. Is he's got more carries without Theo Burkett alongside of him this year, and Curtis Dewberry. We got a couple other guys, Chichi Ojika and Anthony Resnick, but he's going to have a few more touches this year. He's got to carry the mail a little bit more for us this year, and that'll start out this week at Duluth. Quarterback last season, a position that was in flux for you guys based on injuries. Started 3 different guys at that position. With both John Taglin and Brian Bradshaw healthy and playing well, how much does stability at that position help you guys going forward? Well, it really just calms everybody down. The whole offense, when either one of those guys walks in the huddle, it's on, and they're in charge, and everybody knows it. And they're 2 totally different quarterbacks, but they both have the equal respect from the team. They both can win big games for us. They've proved it. And also John Taglin, being healthy, can really start to see what he can do. I mean, he hasn't played for over, almost 2 years now, with only playing 1 game last year. So he's really excited. He's grown up, and he still has 2 years to go, so we're pretty excited about that. It's easy to get offensive storylines out of Thursday's game against Minnesota Crookston. A great day for the offense, but it was a great day for the defense as well. Shut out Minnesota Crookston. The only 6 points that the Golden Eagles scored was on that interception return. And like you mentioned, held the reigning NSIC rushing leader to just 75 yards on the ground. So you have to be happy with the way the defense came out. Yeah, it was a big challenge for him. We talked about it all week about, it's a great opportunity. The #1 rushing yardage guy in the league coming to Winona. Let's do what we can to shut him down, and they did. I mean, he got most of his yards in the second half and late in the game, and so I thought our kids did a great job, battling the star of the opponent. But also we had a lot of kids in that football game. I thought the defensive line played really well. Ryan Gerts was all over the place. And even young linebackers. In fact, we had 2 young linebackers that led us in tackles, and those guys had never even been on a college football field before. So I'm very excited for the young linebackers and especially the entire defense. And you have to be happy with the depth that was able to come in and perform. You mentioned those 2 linebackers. Guys getting multiple tackles and being around the football all game. Then you have freshman guys like Alan May returns a couple kicks.
Also caught a touchdown pass. Freshman Josh Mikas, his first catch went for a touchdown. So you have to be happy with the some of the young kids coming up and the depth that provides your team.
I think we have great balance, Grant. We have, a couple of those guys. You talk about those young receivers, we're going to address another freshman this week. So, really talking about 3 freshman kids that are in there with 3 seniors, and 2 of them are 6th-year guys. So it's like the old guys and the young guys, and so we're pretty excited to watch how that matures and watch how they work together. That's a pretty exciting group right now.
Moving forward, all eyes are going to be on this weekend's matchup, Winona State, Minnesota Duluth. The Bulldogs ranked 2nd in the country, and they're coming off a win in their opening game as well. What will it take to slow down a Minnesota Duluth team?
Well, I don't know if you slow them down, but you just got to play with them. We got to play at a high level. It's not like we're trying to bring them down to our level. We need to go get up and play at their level. They struggled a little bit early against Southwest, but they're a very good football team. Obviously one of the top 5 teams in the country, and they've earned that. But we have to go play at that level. The last few times that we've played a nationally ranked team in the top 10, we have risen to the occasion and we've won. And we got to rest on that we can go up there and perform well and take care of the football, run it well, and play solid defense, and good things can happen.
You have a win over a top 10 team early in the season the last 3 years, and a chance to extend that streak to 4 years going against a Bulldog opponent. This is really going to be a great test early in the year, just like you've had games in the past, last year beating St. Cloud State, playing Carson Newman a couple years ago, but a great early season test, really to get kind of a temperature of where things are.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think that our kids are anxious for it. They're excited about it. They want to go perform well and see what happens down the stretch. But the biggest and most important thing is just go play our game. We feel we have enough talent. We got to protect the quarterback. And you look at the Southwest game. I thought they did a nice job protecting Payshong. He threw the ball over the place. Only had 1 sack. And so that's something that we really worked hard on. And if we can do that, that gives us better balance with Ryan running the football and throwing around all those young receivers. So that's what we're looking forward to. Really an opportunity to go play a top-ranked team. And like I told our kids, it changes everything for us with a win.
Absolutely. And you've heard us talk about the game against Minnesota Crookston and what happened last week. Now it's time to see what happened last week. On the other side of this break, we'll show you highlights of the Warriors' 58-6 victory over Minnesota Crookston.
Financial startophobia. Fear of financial endeavors causing putting off till the day after tomorrow that which should have been done the day before yesterday.
If you have financial startophobia, I would recommend Merchants Bank. I had a little touch of financial startophobia, had a good recommendation, and went to the bank and had a great experience. Merchants Bank has personal service. I'm not afraid of anything. They've been around for over 130 years. You know who you're dealing with. Merchants Bank, the bank that's service built.
Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. Now it's time for the highlights of Winona State's big victory over Minnesota Crookston.
Well, we did have a lot of highlights in the game, Grant. The first one you're going to see here is Rayon Simmons getting out on the screenplay. The most exciting thing is look at the big guys out front running. Did a great job with the receivers, getting down there in front of those guys and found a way to get in the end zone in the last 10 yards. So, that's a great way to start a ball game, when you start out 7-zip. Defense played great all year. They did a good job, or the whole game I should say, did a great job swarming around the quarterback, something we'll have to continue this week with Chase Vogler. But really kept the quarterback in the pocket, kept Richard Haley down to minimal yards, so did a great job. Another screen play that we had, Rayon out and running again, but it's really, you can see that tempo and that timing against teams that over pursue us is really good. Brian Bradshaw on the run, you can see he's very athletic, gets out of the pocket, and gets the ball downfield and to Sean Gerts, and he gets down the sideline for us on a big play. That's a touchdown right there. That's the first one, I think, to Josh Mikas, and he did a great job. He got in the end zone for the first time. Alan May got in the first time, and this was the Chichi Ojika, I believe.
Yep.
And he was, obviously you can see how fast he is, one of the fastest kids in the state of Minnesota coming out of high school. Again, great pressure by the defense. Ball's tipped and intercepted on that particular play. So another great play by the defense. Offensively, again, stretching the field, another screen, kind of getting used to it. But again, down for big yards, and again, this one was to Chichi. Got down the sideline, kept that big drive alive. They ended up scoring that drive. Again, Brian Bradshaw scrambling on the naked. In this one, he finds Alan May in the end zone, wide open. Actually, about the 20-yard line, takes it in for the touchdown. Again, his first touchdown as a Warrior as well. So 2 freshman touchdowns, kind of fun. Again, pressure on the cue. Big interception here. This is Morgan Weaver. He's a redshirt freshman or second-year kid from Chicago, and I gave him a hard time for not getting in down there because he was a pretty good running back in high school. Got tackled at the 3-yard line. Again, defense, again, we kind of baited the guy into throwing the ball. Didn't know what to do with it, bailed down and got a sack on the play. One of a couple on the day for the Warrior defense. Ryan Simmons just chewing up yards, fighting his way downfield in the early part of the second half. Did a nice job. This is a transfer corner in. Darby Lundy on that tackle did a great job. And here we are on the reverse. And this is Jay Adams taking it to the house all the way. You know, we had some big plays on some trick stuff, but it's kind of fun as mom and family were here from Florida right down in that end zone. So it's pretty cool. His first touchdown of the year. Defense, again, putting some pressure on. That's Lewis Johnson with the sack coming from the backside. Zac Barton has done a great job. I know he's one of your guests today. He'll talk a little bit more about that defensive front, but those guys can really get after it. Offensively, again, misdirection play, great blocking up front. Ryan Simmons doing his thing, running through and around people, and ran out of bounds there to conserve a little clock at the end. Again, offense now getting down in the scoring zone. Again, we're trying to blow it up in there. Did a great job in the offensive line in our tight end group to Ryan Simmons get in for one of his 3 touchdowns on the day. Little scoop and score right here. Well, we thought he was going to get in, but a nice job. Created a fumble, picked it up, and took off with that highlight. It was really a lot of fun. Defensive tackle right there for a loss. That's Parker Detchins. Did a great job. And then a 43-yarder by our first-year kicker, Jake Vercher from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So it's fun to have him up there. Of course, when it was hailing yesterday, he was freaking out because he'd never seen it before. Again, more defensive highlights. The guys flying around, just doing their job. And that is actually Austin Opfer in his first college football game. And like I said before, a lot of true redshirt freshman kids got a chance to play. So exciting day for the Warriors.
Some great highlights out of this. We'll expect more great highlights again next week on the Tom Sawyer Show. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. I'm joined now by Winona State sophomore linebacker Ryan Gerts. And Ryan, this is now your second year on the field. Tell me what the first game of the season was like this year as opposed to last year. You were a freshman last year, new to everything. You got a year under your belt now. So what was that pregame like for you against Crookston on Thursday, having gone through a full season already?
Well, I've been playing football for 14 years, and it's no different. You know, you get the same pregame jitters. Just being around you and your pals, you can't help but get a little excited. I mean, Crookston being a 1-10 team last season, it'd be easy to overlook them, but we really just went into that game, wanted to set an example for the rest of the season, and I felt like we did that.
Crookston, despite the record, had a great rushing attack last year. The conference's leading rusher returned, and you limited him to just 75 yards on the ground. What were you as a unit able to do to keep their rushing game off balance? I think they ended the game with 72 total rushing yards. What did you do to keep them from really establishing any momentum?
Pursuit, there's a big emphasis all week. It's one that Coach Braun and Coach Barn harp on every day. When we're doing our gold team drills, we got to hit those guys. They got to realize that they're giving us a good look, and it all comes from practice. We got to pursue, and we did that well.
From a defensive standpoint, how did you feel that Thursday night's game went? You obviously pitched the shutout, didn't allow any points. Have to be happy with that. But overall, how did you feel about that first opener?
Yeah, I mean, shutout is every defense's or every great defense's goal. I mean, I feel there was imperfections, but I felt like we made up with it with our pursuit. We communicated very well, which was also a big emphasis this past camp, and I felt like we brought it together pretty well.
Personally, where do you feel your strengths lie as a defender?
My strengths, playing linebacker is just, you've probably heard it before, instinct. I mean, I just feel like to be a linebacker, you have to have a little extra, whatever it is, and feel like I've developed that pretty well. Good eye discipline, and of course, footwork. Footwork's huge.
You were second on the team last year as a freshman, earned Conference Defensive Newcomer of the Year honors. What made you able to come out as a freshman and make an immediate impact on the field?
I'd say that the defense around me. Last year I had Matt Ulrich at nose. He's an amazing player. And this year I have Lou Johnson in front of me, and Colin McGuire, huge influences. It's great to have two captains up there, and they just kind of helped mold me, let me get into the defense and really strive in the middle.
They're mentors for you who really helped you make the transition pretty seamless, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This weekend, you and the rest of the team travel to Duluth. Minnesota Duluth is on the schedule. Second-ranked team in the country. UMD traditionally has, they're very balanced, but they have a real powerful rushing attack. What do you have to do to slow them down this week?
Well, this week we're not really what we're concerned about, but we have a kind of mantra that this is Warrior Week. A lot of teams will say this is Duluth Week, this is Crookston Week. We really wanted to emphasize that we need to do everything right on our side of the ball, and we feel like we're the only ones that could beat ourselves. So we're going to communicate, play fast like we did against Crookston, and definitely match and overpower their powerful offense.
Well, it should turn out to be a good game we'll be watching. When we come back, we'll talk to one of the defensive coaches on the Warrior staff, Zac Barton, who coaches the defensive line as well as the special teams, right after this break.
Financial startophobia. Fear of financial endeavors causing putting off till the day after tomorrow that which should have been done the day before yesterday.
If you have financial startophobia, I would recommend Merchants Bank. I had a little touch of financial startophobia, had a good recommendation, and went to the bank and had a great experience. Merchants Bank has personal service. I'm not afraid of anything. They've been around for over 130 years. You know who you're dealing with. Merchants Bank, the bank that's service built.
Welcome back to the Tom Sawyer Show. I'm joined now by Winona State assistant coach Zac Barton. And Coach, you have responsibilities with both the defensive line and special teams here at Winona State. How are the first few weeks in purple going for you?
It's been really good. Defensive line, a lot of experience coming in. Just not trying to mess it up, to be honest with you. Two captains on the defensive line right now, Lewis Johnson and Colin McGuire, both all-conference type of players, great leaders, great young men. Inside, we've got some younger guys playing the nose position. But overall, with the defensive line, very happy with where we're at right now.
Personally, for you, this is your second stint here with the Warriors, a graduate assistant a few years ago. And then you went off on a little bit of a football journey, going to a few different spots. Was in Memphis, South Dakota, a few different places that you've been over the last couple of years. Now you're back here in Winona. What made you want to come back, and what made working here on this staff so appealing for you?
I think it's Coach Sawyer. Starting out as a graduate assistant, you don't know anything about the profession. And it's just the atmosphere that he creates here. The family atmosphere, the way that people are treated is the best thing about coming back. So, been all over, like you said. You was at UNO, Omaha for a while. Had some good experiences, but very happy to be back.
Absolutely. And you mentioned the defense and how they're playing, particularly the defensive line. How did you think that they performed in that opener last week against Crookston?
It was a good start. It's where we need to be. Recorded 3 sacks on the defensive line, which is good. That's something that we've got to understand. Coach harps on it all the time. 11 guys doing their job. So we've got to understand the big picture where we fit. If we're bringing pressure, we need to understand we need to get where we need to get. Being a 3-down front, it's important for us to do our job and let the guys behind us make some plays. And they understand that, and they've done a great job of it. And it's going to be more critical, obviously, this week with Duluth. So we got to keep improving every day. It's something that we talk about every day in meetings, is from the way you stretch, from the way you meet. We're going to go from good to great. We need to do that in everything we do.
I can tell from the way you answered that question that you already have a checklist of things that you want to see getting better, which is the goal of any football team, to be better at the last game of the year than the first.
Correct. Definitely.
Matt Ulrich was an All-American on the defensive line for Winona State last year, a great player during his playing career. Now he's helping out on the coaching staff, seeing things from the other side of the sideline. What kind of help has he been in this new position now that he's in the film room, in the meeting room as a coach instead of a player?
He's very natural, I'm going to say right away. First of all, he's an unbelievable player. It's not easy to transition from being an All-American football player to a coach because things are a little easier for someone his skill set. Obviously, things are easier for you. Mm-hmm. He has been fantastic. I think he is a natural at it. You can tell by the way he works with our guys and the way that our young nose tackles are playing, that is attributed to him. He's been fantastic, not only in the film room. I mean, he takes them. I mean, he's taking the D-line. He's got the D-line along with special teams, and he's running it. And he's done a fantastic job. So I can't say enough good things about him, what he's contributing to our practices, to our film meetings, to our breakdown. He's just been unbelievable.
Special teams you've mentioned is a large part of your responsibility, and you've had to replace one of the best return men in school history in Curtis Dewberry. Not an easy task to do at all, but it seemed Alan May came in, a freshman who returned both a kick and a punt 30-plus yards, also caught a touchdown pass against Crookston. How has the transition from a great player like Curtis to some talented but a little less experienced players gone?
What I've stressed with them, and Coach Warnick, our wide receivers coach, has done a great job with returners. He works primarily with returners. What we stress for them is possession of the football. We're not going to ask you to be Curtis. It's just not going to happen. So what I've stressed with Alan is catching the ball and making great decisions. And he's obviously done that. His patience on the return was fantastic. If we finish off one block, it's a house call. So we're very pleased with that. With catching the punt, not only did he have a great return, but the fact that he caught every single ball and didn't let any bounce. If you let the ball bounce, you lose an average of 15 yards every time. He didn't let one ball hit the ground. And that's hard to do. When everybody's running at you full speed and you're looking at the ball, that takes a different type of kid. So he did a great job with that. And then Tam Atwood came in and caught one too, which is fantastic. So I couldn't be more pleased with those guys. Chichi Ojika, as like Coach said, is one of the fastest kids in the state. With him and Alan back there, I feel very comfortable with where we're at. So we need to continue doing that. So they're going to have some more opportunities. If we can stay consistent, I'm pretty pleased.
Absolutely. Thanks very much for joining us this week, Coach. That's all the time we have on the Tom Sawyer Show this week. Just a reminder, you can listen to the Warriors take on Minnesota Duluth Saturday, 6 p.m. on 89.5 KQAL. You can also catch it live on TV. HBC subscribers can watch the game on Channel 25. Thanks for watching the Tom Sawyer Show, and we will see you next week.